Hey Credit Warriors, welcome to the show, and in this episode I want to go over the best credit cards to use in every popular spending category in Q1 of 2023. And when I say best, I mean the cards that will earn you the highest rate of points, rewards or cashback on your spending, since if you're not using the best card for each spending category, you are literally leaving money on the table. And this video is brought to you by Masterworks, but more on that later. So, our first category. Supermarkets. So first up is supermarkets, and in this category, the Amex Gold card often wins with its 4 Amex points per dollar on spending at US supermarkets, which could give you a value of 8% back if you value Amex points at 2 cents per point, which is normally the minimum value you can get for them if you're transferring out to airlines and booking premium cabins like business class, etc. However, this quarter we have the Chase Freedom cards and the Discover It cards, both offering a quarterly bonus on supermarket spending. The Chase Freedom Flex and the older Chase Freedom card, which isn't open to new applicants but a lot of people still have, are both offering 5% or 5x Chase points back on grocery spending, excluding Walmart but including Target. And Discover is offering a very similar bonus on the Discover It cashback card. It's 5% back on groceries for Q1. Now, if you are unfamiliar with this type of credit card, it is called a quarterly category card, where you can typically earn 5% or 5 points per dollar back on categories that change each quarter. However, for both cards, you are limited to $1,500 worth of spending for the quarter that you will earn those bonus points on, and then it goes back down to, I think, 1%. And for the Chase cards, you are earning points, not cashback, okay? You can redeem it as cashback, but actually it's convertible into points. So if you do value Chase points at 2 cents a piece, which, like we said earlier, you can normally get at least 2 cents if you're transferring to airlines and booking business class cabins on planes, you would be getting a 10% return on your grocery spending. The Discover It card, by contrast, is just cashback. However, some people do prefer that. Now, I got a few more for you. So additionally, on some of the Chase co-branded cards, okay, we're talking like the Chase Hotel cards, Southwest Airlines, United, Amazon Visa, etc. Some of these cards actually have a bonus right now where you can earn 5 points or 5% cashback or whatever on grocery from now until March 31st. And just to point out, you won't find these offers on cards that earn Ultimate Rewards points like the Sapphire or the Freedom, etc. It's the co-branded cards that people are finding these offers on. Now, we did a video on this earlier this week. You guys can check it out. It looks like this, but a lot of people in the comments did comment they're getting these offers on the Amazon card, the British Airways card, Southwest card, etc. So if you have one of the Chase co-branded cards and you want to see if it is targeted with an offer, you can go to chase.com/mybonus and you enter your last name, the last 4 digits of your card number, and your zip code. Now, we were actually able to get a 7 points per dollar bonus on a certain category that I'll talk about later, but most cards were offering 5 bonus points per dollar, and one of the categories they were offering that on was supermarkets. All right, let's move on to our next spending category, rent. Normally, you cannot pay rent with a credit card. However, the Bilt MasterCard changes that. You can pay any landlord using your Bilt card and earn 1 Bilt point per dollar by doing it, up to 50,000 points per year, and there's no transaction fee. If the landlord uses the Bilt system, it goes to them directly, or if they don't, Bilt will send a check to the landlord on your behalf. The points can be transferred to a load of airline and hotel transfer partners, including American Airlines, which makes this the only US credit card that can transfer to AA. Now, there has been some news recently about the newer version of the Bilt card, which is issued by Wells Fargo. Some people are noticing fraudulent charges appearing on their statements, some before they even receive the card. Now, before you jump to conclusions blaming it on Wells Fargo, since I know you guys love to do that in the comments, check out this statement from Bilt about the type of attack that they have been targeted with. They use compromised merchants to randomly test millions of potential card numbers to see which ones work, focusing on one card range at a time. While many of these card attempts get blocked, often invisibly to the customer, occasionally charges make it through. This has been happening across banks, and we are aware that a few of Wells Fargo Bilt card holders have experienced fraudulent charges as part of that. And the statement goes on to say that you are not liable if you do discover a fraudulent charge on your account. So while it would be annoying to have to report these charges, if they do appear, and they probably won't for the majority of card members. If you are interested in this card, I wouldn't let that discourage you. It is a great card that could be very useful for some people. If you're interested, I'll put a link to it and a load of the other cards that we're going to talk about in this video in the description section below. Let's now move on to another spending category where a lot of people can earn a load of points. But first of all, guys, I know you're all watching this because you want to save money and get the most value out of your spending. Perhaps you've been affected by the current recession, high inflation, or you're just not getting the same returns on the stock market that you have got in recent years. With the Fed fighting inflation by raising rates, it's kind of like Jerome Powell is turning the money printer in reverse. But one asset class has proven to outpace the stock market, especially in times of high inflation, and that is contemporary art. The last time inflation was this high, in the late 1970s and early 80s, it appreciated at an average of 20% per year. And that brings me to the sponsor of today's video, Masterworks. Their platform lets you invest in contemporary works of art by adding fractional shares of these SEC qualified paintings to your portfolio. Masterworks has over 200 paintings qualified with the SEC, and I've linked to that webpage in the description. Masterworks sold 9 paintings last year, returning tens of millions of dollars to their investors, with their last 3 sales handing back a pretty amazing 10, 13, and 35% net returns. This opportunity used to be reserved for billionaires, but now you too can invest in works by Monet, Andy Warhol, Picasso, and even Banksy. Demand on Masterworks' platform is so high that they have had to release more art, and paintings have sold out within minutes. So here's the cool part. My viewers can claim a complimentary Masterworks account by using my link in the description. All right, let's move on to restaurants. My go-to card for restaurants is normally the Amex Gold with its 4 points per dollar on restaurants worldwide. Another great card is the Citi Custom Cash, which earns 5 points per dollar if restaurants are your biggest spending category that month. That is limited to $500 in spending per month though. But then there is a new restaurant bonus on one card that we've already talked about once in this video, and that is the Bilt MasterCard. Now this card normally earns 3 points per dollar on restaurant spending. However, on the first of every month, which Bilt is calling Rent Day, the card actually earns double points on everything except rent. Yeah, I know, it's called Rent Day, but you don't get the bonus on rent. I thought that was weird too. But anyway, that 3 points per dollar on restaurants becomes 6 points per dollar on that one day. So you could make the first of every month date night to get that higher rate. And if you transfer to partners like American Airlines and book premium cabins, and if you do manage to get 2 cents per point, then that would be a 12% return on your restaurant spending. Okay, let's move on to our next category. Gas. Now for gas, there are a couple of cards that I often recommend. One of them is the Amex Business Gold, which earns 4 points per dollar on your top 2 spending categories each month from this list. And one of those categories is gas. So if you value Amex points at 2 cents per point, that would be an 8% return. Another favorite of mine is the Wyndham Rewards Earner Business Card. It earns 8 Wyndham points per dollar on gas. The points guy values Wyndham points at 1.1 cents per point, so in theory that would be an 8.8% return. But this quarter, there are actually some other cards that can get you an extra bonus on gas, and those are the Chase co-branded cards that we talked about at the beginning. If you do what we showed you how to do at the beginning of the video, go to chase.com/mybonus and enter your card details, you may discover that your card is earning a bonus on gas, possibly even up to 7 points per dollar, okay? We got one, the IHG card, that's earning 7 points per dollar on gas. Many of the others are earning 5 points per dollar, in addition to the 5 points per dollar or whatever on supermarkets. So do remember to go to that website and check it if you have a Chase co-branded card, just to see, and you may be pleasantly surprised. All right, let's do a quick fire round to finish. Drugstores. For drugstores, the Chase Freedom Flex earns 3% back on drugstores. But if you have the Discover It cashback card, you may want to switch to that because they are offering 5% back as part of the quarterly categories for quarter 1 of 2023. Flights. For flights booked directly with airlines, we always recommend the Amex Platinum because it earns 5 points per dollar. However, if you're going to book through a travel portal, there are actually many cards now that are offering 5 points per dollar, like the Chase Sapphire Reserve, the Capital One Venture X, etc. Weird categories. All right, this is a bit of a funny one. My usual choice for sort of weird or obscure categories is the US Bank Cash Plus card. Now, this card earns 5% back on $2,000 worth of spending per quarter in 2 categories that you choose from this list. And you can see that some of them are pretty unconventional. You don't see them really on other cards. They include things like home utilities, electronic stores, and clothing stores. And then lastly, we have non-category spend. This is your catch-all card for everything else when it doesn't fit into any specific category that you have a bonus on another card for. And for this, I normally like to recommend the City Double Cash, which earns 2% cash back on everything. Now, there are a few other options. There are a load of other 2% cashback cards. There are also cards where you get a higher rate than 2% on everything if you have a certain amount of investments. Bank of America has a few cards like that, etc. But the reason I like the City Double Cash is because the cashback is convertible to City Thank You points. So if you can get 2 cents per point in value, you could actually be earning 4% back on all of your non-category spend. Now, I know we perhaps could have mentioned more cards, but we generally put emphasis on the ones that have changed since the last version of this video, which would have been Q4 of 2022. So we talked a lot about the Chase Freedom, the Discover It, which are rotating category cards, the categories change, and then also those cards that have the Chase offers, okay, on gas, supermarkets, etc., the Chase co-branded cards. A big thank you to Masterworks for sponsoring this video. You can skip the waitlist and try out their service with my link below. Also, I will put links to many of the cards that we talked about in this video, and also my credit card guide, where you can read mini reviews of many of the cards that I often mention on the show in the description below. As always, these are affiliate links. Help out the show. Thank you so much if you do use them. Please subscribe if you're new, leave your comments below, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.